Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Weekly Comic Roundup. We've made it most of the way through the roundup. Let's keep on going. Kicking things off, we've got Captain America number 5. Where we left off, in the present, Cap had faced off with the emissary. Managed to survive. He survived with that, and also managed to get an idea of the emissary's plan. In the past, Steve was attempting to make sure that young Steve was basically trying to prevent the German-American Bund from, well, basically keeping the U.S. out of World War II. And had developed an alliance with mobster Meyer Lansky. So, also, Cap has discovered that Doctor Strange has given Misty Knight a figurine of himself, so that if need be, if she needs his consulting on something, well, she can. However, Cap does tend to refer to the figurine as a doll. But the issue opens with Cap telling Strange through the figurine that about the emissary. Strange knows a fair amount about demonology and is able to figure out exactly who the demon empowering the emissary is, Asmodee. But it's decided, in order to continue with potentially having Strange's counsel handy, Cap takes the head of the figurine to keep with him in one of the pouches in his on his belt. There's apparently a half-eaten granola bar in there. But it seems that a peace rally is the target of Asmodee, and in the present, and Misty Knight has a meeting with the organizers, and so she has to basically say, "Hey, yeah, a lot of people you have talking have been murdered. Maybe this ought to be called off." Back in '39. Steve runs into Mr. Mueller and learns that Mueller has managed to gather some information on the Bund's plans, including getting some pictures of Baron Strucker and Zemo, showing that they're behind it. However, Mueller got injured in escaping, but is able to pass along what he's learned to Steve. In the present, the organizer of the peace conference, of the peace rally, has no intention of calling off the rally, while the emissary watches in disguise, quite happy with the news. Outside the Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden in '39. A fight breaks out. However, beforehand, one of the Bund members that had been picking on Steve frequently is working to make sure that the plan goes off as it's supposed to, though he doesn't know all the pieces of the plan. But he tells Steve what he finds Steve, tells him what he knows. And about 5 minutes after a certain point in the speech that's going to be given, a bomb's going to go off, which will, at the very least, bring up, keep America neutral. Very worst, or for the Bund's purposes, best case scenario would be the U.S. siding with the Nazis. However, Strucker kills the Bund member and chases after Steve. Who's trying to let Mayor Lansky know what's going on. Steve tells Lansky and insists on going with them to the rally. Lansky and his people show up, start roughing up the Nazis. Meanwhile, in the present, no sign of the emissary at the peace conference. One of the organizers calls him inside. Only when Cap gets to her, she claims she didn't. As all the doors and windows slammed shut. And the emissary gives a speech, basically explaining he's going to kill everyone there. And so, in both the present and the past, the issue ends with Steve Rogers charging into action, both in the present and in the past. Solid issue. I'm digging the story. Curious to see how the whole thing plays out. I don't imagine that next issue will be the end of the series after all. So, but yeah, good issue. Good book so far, honestly. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Doctor Strange, number 11. So, Umar, Warlord of the Dark Dimension, sister of the Dread Dormammu, mother-in-law to the Sorcerer Supreme of Earth, Dr. Stephen Strange, has recently remarried and has had a child with her new husband. That child was stolen by General Strange and rescued by Umar's son-in-law and Umar's daughter, Dr. Strange's wife, Clea. And they've taken something of a liking to the child, and so they're babysitting. They've taken Donna, as named by Clea, to Coney Island. And obviously, Donna is rather entranced by everything she sees. This leads Clea and Stephen to discuss whether or not they discuss children. Clea has no interest. And Strange states that he's Sorcerer Supreme of Earth, and it's bad enough he subjects his wife to his life, but subjecting a child, that would be far worse. However, while they're talking, Donna disappears. Elsewhere at Coney Island, the all-new, all-different Circus of Crime prepares to make their grand debut. The Ring Mistress, as well as Stefano Stiletto, Chief Beef, and Jim Nasty. But Donna, their plan is basically a large version of Ringmaster's Hypno Hat on the boardwalk, hypnotize everyone on Coney Island, and turn them into an army of unwitting criminals. So, while the strangers as well as bats, are looking for Donna, Donna takes the manages to steal the remote for the giant hypno wheel. And being a magical being in and of herself, ends up utilizing her own innate magical abilities to foil the Circus of Crime's attempts at following her. Stiletto, it would seem, is has a fear of toys, specifically stuffed animals. But he's an ardent believer in exposure therapy. Ring Mistress attempts to use the hypno wheel on her hat to hypnotize Donna, but it backfires, and yeah. But apparently, it seems that she is able to mask her magical presence from the Stranges instinctually. But so Clea has her and Strange turn into hawks and find her that way. Meanwhile, Bats has found Donna and is defending her from the threats of crime, who decide that dealing with a magical baby isn't the best idea when the Strangers show up behind the said magical baby. But Donna is returned to Umar. Clea says that it's good for Donna to spend, or Umar says it's good for Donna to spend time in their world, as she puts it, with Clea jokingly suggesting so that Donna can learn of this world and come to love it. But Umar states that it will be because Donna will eventually conquer this pathetic realm, and well, Umar wishes her to be familiar with her soon-to-be fawning subjects. And then, as Umar leaves, she suggests that perhaps next time, maybe Clea could take Donna to one of the animal prisons. Clea corrects her; they're called zoos, but in all honesty, Umar ain't wrong. Just saying. The Strangers continue their discussion about children, and Bat states that it's funny because he sees them go to the mat for each other time and again. There's nothing one of them want to do for the other, so he wonders why they think they got to lie to each other. And that is where the issue ends. It's a fun issue. And as much as I've loved the previous 10 issues, which have been, very good, serious Doctor Strange work, I enjoy these type of little fun, the occasional light, hey, let's do something fun with Doctor Strange issues. And McKay handles it beautifully. Moving on, though, to our next book, and from Marvel to the Super Competition, we've got Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville, number 5. The penultimate issue of the miniseries. Where we left off, things weren't looking good for Fire and Ice. Kind of seemed that, they were soon to be at each other's throats. The issue opens, Fire in a cornfield, wondering where Lobo's gone off to. A fire starting at the salon. Ice over at her friend Rocky's. Lobo's robbed the criminals, and the salon is burning. And when Ice shows up, Fire takes the blame. She says, yeah, everything's my fault. The villains wake up having, pretty much been robbed. With Grodd's sister suggesting that they rob the town. Ice stops at the diner. Rocky, as well as the patrons, seem a bit off. And as Ice leaves, Rocky simply says, "Grow," and vines begin to grow around everyone. B is at the bar run by Rocky's brother, drowning her sorrows when Linka, Rod's sister, shows up wanting to rob the place. When and to be fair, and B points out that the bar is the only bar in town and charges $8 for a beer. That's theft. But the various villains are committing various amusing crimes. But Fire and Linka talk, and Linka admits that more than anything, she's just trying to piss off her brother. But the rabbit, as Maxie Zeus walks through the town, noting that no one bows before him, people are over saying they're quite hungry and swarming him. But he's hitting the head with a potato. Ice insists that everything that's going on is actually her fault. That the entity she spoke of apparently was called Crave. Victims felt a hunger so deep nothing could satisfy it. When they came upon the village, the only things left were the bodies, flesh torn from bone by rabid teeth. Apparently, Crave got Ice's mother, or tried to, but Ice fought back, defending her mother. But it's pointed out also one thing missing is a mask. That mask is the last living remnant of the island of Kui Kui Kui. With B explaining that the island is alive, would come and go as it pleased, and if it didn't like you, it would move right out from under you. But Elrond suggests that perhaps as the island has been abused and displaced, nearly destroyed, it may seek a host to help itself regenerate. And it has, in the form of Rocky, who intends to basically recreate Kui 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 in Smallville. At the same time, Ice gets a phone call. Crave is there at the hospital asking for Ice, and that is where the issue ends. Okay, I gotta say, the return of Kui 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 is quite amusing. Think of Kui 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 as being kind of like a more tongue-in-cheek version of Krakoa. Just not a mutant sex island. Moving on to our last book for the moment, we've got Wesley Dodds' Sandman, number 4. Where we left off, Wesley had fought his evil doppelganger, and then ended up having to expose himself to one of his sleeping gases, granting him visions, most of his past, but also his present, and seemingly his future. Including some glimpses of the JSA. But 2 days later, Wesley wakes up at the apartment that he's staying in on loan from a friend of his father's. and realizes that someone with a military background had to be involved. And so he goes to the apartment of Mr. Vanderlyle, Wheeler Vanderlyle, his associate of his father's, and finds his doppelganger attacking Vanderlyle, attempting to garrote him, it would seem. But Wesley does what he can to stop him, wanting to know where the notebook is, and sadly, kicking the man out the window to his death. But Wesley realizes that pretty much the only thing he can really do to get his notebook back is treason. And that is where the issue ends. I can't say I'm entirely surprised with how the mysteries overall turned out. It made perfect sense from the first issue that that's kind of how things would play out. But anyways, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.